coming up from the Northeast Live Studios in Guwahati. Northeast Tonight with Wasbir Hussain.
Hello and welcome to Notice Tonight, the show that decodes the region. The performance of Team India at the Tokyo Olympics has enthused the nation. The Northeast has enough reasons to cheer as 2 of its 8 Olympians have bagged medals in individual events and 1 bagged a medal in a team event. Yes, I am talking about Assam's Lovelina Borgohain, who bagged a bronze in boxing, and Mirabai Chanu of Manipur, who brought us a silver in weightlifting. The third, of course, is ace hockey player Nilakanta Sharma, who is part of the bronze-winning Indian hockey squad. Now, what is the big message from Tokyo 2020 to India and the Northeast in particular? Well, yes, everyone is saying the region has enough potential, and if tapped and honed properly, the sports persons from the Northeast can keep on making the nation proud. We have seen governments in Manipur and Assam shower cash awards and give jobs to our Olympians. Now, is that enough to enthuse the hidden talents? Where does the catch lie? Is it in unearthing or discovering hidden talents, or is it creating the right infrastructure and atmosphere for them to get the best possible training they want? Why are basic things like proper food and other logistics an issue for our players always? Why do they have to worry about what would happen to them 2 decades later? Should sports form a part of our school syllabus? To answer some of these questions, I am joined tonight by one of Northeast's brightest sports stars, Nilakanta Sharma, sensational hockey midfielder from Manipur who excelled at the Tokyo Olympics. Also with me is Mr. Lakhya Konwar, Vice President of the Athletics Federation of India and Secretary of the Assam Olympic Association. From Duliajan, I am joined by Arunjyoti Baruah, a former Indian table tennis captain. In Imphal, I have T. Phulen, Director Youths and Sports at the studios. With me is Madhurjya Baruah, former international badminton player and former IAS officer and leading sports administrator. Swapnanil Baruah is also with me in the studios. But before we begin the discussion, let us directly go to Nilakanta Sharma, the man of the moment, who is among the Olympians who have made India proud. Let's go straight to Nilakanta Sharma. Mr. Nilakanta Sharma, welcome to this show. Hearty congratulations to you, Nilakanta Sharma ji. आपने टोक्यो में हिस्ट्री क्रिएट किया. मेरा प्रश्न है, टोक्यो से इंडियन हॉकी के लिए सबसे बड़ा मैसेज क्या है?
ये देखिए, क्योंकि हॉकी में जब से खेल के आया हूँ, हॉकी इतना पॉपुलर नहीं था. जब हम टोक्यो ओलंपिक्स में ब्रॉन्ज मेडल लेके आए, क्योंकि हॉकी बहुत ऊपर गया अभी, क्योंकि ये ऊपर बढ़ते ही रहेगा. क्योंकि जब हम जर्मनी को हराया था, उसके बाद इंडियन हॉकी टीम में क्योंकि बहुत कॉन्फिडेंस आ गया. क्योंकि हॉकी ऐसा है कि ये नेशनल गेम है, सभी चाहते हैं. इस बार ज़्यादा सपोर्ट मिला है अपने मणिपुर से भी और पूरा भारत से भी बहुत सपोर्ट मिला. क्योंकि पीएम सर भी देख रहे थे हॉकी इस बार. क्योंकि ये चीज़ हम हमेशा होना चाहिए, क्योंकि एक प्लेयर को इनकरेज करना बहुत ज़रूरी है. पीएम ने भी ऐसा किया तो, और हम अंदर से करेज आते हैं कि कुछ ना कुछ मेडल लेके जाना है. मैं यही मैसेज देना चाहता हूँ कि जितने भी आने वाला प्लेयर है और ये लोग हॉकी अच्छे से खेलते रहेगा और अपना ये मेहनत करते रहेगा, क्योंकि ब्रॉन्ज मेडल लेके आ चुका है इंडियन मेंस हॉकी टीम. तो मैं यही मैसेज देना चाहता हूँ
जी. नीलकांत जी, टोक्यो 2020 आपके लिए पहले ओलंपिक्स आउटिंग था. सबसे बड़ा लेसन आपका पर्सनली, सबसे बड़ा लेसन आपके लिए क्या था?
ओलंपिक ये बहुत बड़ा इवेंट है, बहुत कुछ सीखने को मिलता है वहाँ पे. क्योंकि एक चीज़ आप लूज़ करके आएंगे. ये जब हम 2 साल पहले हम एक टीम प्रिपरेशन कर रहे थे, टोक्यो में जाना है, टोक्यो में जाने के बाद हमें क्या करना है, ये पहले प्रिपरेशन करना पड़ता है. और वहाँ पे बहुत ऐसे प्लेयर आते हैं कि एक चीज़ हमें सीखना पड़ता है उनसे, क्योंकि हम इंडियन वाले भी इस बार बहुत अच्छे प्रिपरेशन करके गए और हम अच्छा परफॉर्मेंस रहा वहाँ पे, और हमने ये सीखा है कि हमें बड़े टूर्नामेंट में हमें एज ए टीम खेलना पड़ेगा, अदरवाइज हम टूर्नामेंट से बाहर हो सकता है।
एब्सोल्युटली, आपने बिल्कुल सही कहा। अनदर थिंग नीलकंठा, लाख्स ऑफ पीपल इन द नॉर्थ ईस्ट में लाखों लोग आपसे इंस्पिरेशन मिला है। व्हाट वुड यू लाइक टू टेल द बडिंग स्पोर्ट्स पर्सन? आप क्या कहेंगे जो यंग स्पोर्ट्स पर्सन है, जो बडिंग स्पोर्ट्स पर्सन है नॉर्थ ईस्टर्न रीजन के, उनका लिए आपका मैसेज क्या रहेगा?
ये तो बहुत अच्छा सवाल था आपका, क्योंकि देखिए हॉकी एक मणिपुर में बहुत अच्छा रहा काफ़ी साल से, क्योंकि बहुत अच्छे से इंटरनेशनल भी निकल चुका है, ओलंपियन भी पहले से बहुत सारे थे। और मैं ये बोलना चाहता हूँ कि जितना हॉकी खेलना है, जो अभी की फ़िलहाल जो फैसिलिटी जो मिल रहा है उसके हिसाब से आपको आप बाहर रहना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि आपकी करियर बनाना है तो आपको कई एकेडमी में या कई साई में रहना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि यहाँ पे नॉर्थ ईस्ट साइड में मेरे ख्याल से अभी तक इक्विपमेंट्स का शूज़ वगैरह ये बहुत कम मिलता है, तो इसकी वजह से हम प्लेयर आगे नहीं बढ़ पाते। और जैसे कि टूर्नामेंट वगैरह बहुत कम होते हैं तो प्लेयर को एक्सपीरियंस बहुत कम मिलता है, उस चीज़ को लेके हम प्लेयर आगे नहीं बढ़ पाते। हमें बाहर रहना है, बाहर रहने के बाद बहुत सारे टूर्नामेंट खेलने को मिलता है, फिर हम नेशनल कैंप में जाने के लिए बहुत अच्छा रास्ता बना सकते हैं। अगर प्लेयर बनना है, आपको आपकी सपना पूरा करना है, तो आपको एकेडमी में रहना पड़ेगा और अपना फ्यूचर बनाना पड़ेगा।
ये अपने very critical point you have made, Mr. Nilakanta Sharma. You have said that basically, there are very few opportunities, very little exposure in the northeastern region. Tournament ज़्यादा होना चाहिए, वो नहीं है, इसलिए जो players है respective sports में उनका ज़्यादा अपॉर्चुनिटी नहीं मिलता है। एनीवे, मैं अगली सवाल नीलकंठ शर्मा, मणिपुर को बोला जाता है कि मणिपुर पावर हाउस ऑफ इंडियन स्पोर्ट्स। नाउ आप राज्य सरकार, स्टेट गवर्नमेंट को आप क्या कहना चाहेंगे फॉर इम्प्रूविंग स्पोर्ट्स इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर एंड बिल्डिंग ए स्पोर्ट्स क्लाइमेट? अब क्या कहना चाहेंगे?
मेरे लिए ये कहना चाहता हूँ, क्योंकि प्लेयर बहुत अच्छे से प्लेयर निकलते हैं शुरू से, चाइल्डहुड से लेके, जो कोचेस होते हैं वो भी अच्छे हैं, क्योंकि सिखाते अच्छे, पर जो हमारा जो सरकार है वो थोड़ा बहुत उस पर नज़र रखना चाहिए ताकि इनको अच्छा फैसिलिटी मिले होते हैं, ये हमेशा कराना चाहिए। और जब भी नेशनल टीम बाहर जाते हैं, क्योंकि इनको अच्छा फैसिलिटी देना चाहिए ताकि इनको अच्छा परफॉर्मेंस रहे। अगर जहाँ तक मेरा कहना है कि जब हम मणिपुर टीम या जितनी भी नॉर्थ ईस्ट से हम नेशनल खेलने जाते हैं जो हॉकी टीम का, हम क्वार्टर फाइनल तक नहीं पहुँच पाते, क्योंकि अगर क्वार्टर फाइनल तक नहीं पहुँचता तो फिर हमें नेशनल गेम में आने के लिए बहुत मुश्किल था। इसलिए मैं कहना चाहता हूँ, जब भी नेशनल टीम का जब प्रिपरेशन होता है, थोड़ा अपना सरकार थोड़ा इनको अच्छा फैसिलिटी दे, अच्छा खाना दे, जो भी है, जब हम ब्रेकफास्ट हो गया, क्योंकि कैंप में जो भी मिलता है वो चीज़ करना चाहिए ताकि प्लेयर आगे बढ़े।
जी। नाउ आपने जब मुख्यमंत्री बीरेन्द्र सिंह जी ने आपसे टेलीफोन में आपसे वीडियो कॉल किया था, आपने कहा कि आपने एक रिक्वेस्ट किया था उनको, एक गवर्नमेंट जॉब चाहिए, वो खैर वो हो भी गया है ना। मेरा प्रश्न ये है, मेरा सवाल ये है, डू यू थिंक गवर्नमेंट शुड हैव अ पॉलिसी for jobs, automatically providing jobs to sports persons so as to secure their future, so that आप जो sports persons है so सिर्फ और सिर्फ sports में ही ध्यान दे सके?
हाँ, ये चीज़ अगर हो सकता है तो बहुत अच्छी बात है, बट मेरे को ये चीज़ का मेरे को उम्मीद नहीं था, क्योंकि ये चीज़ जब मैं बोलूँगा तो भी मेरे ख्याल से वो चीज़ नहीं हो सकता है, क्योंकि यहाँ पे बोलते हैं कि हमारा सरकार के पास इतना पैसे नहीं है, हम वो नहीं कर सकते, वो चीज़ तो बाद में। बट मेरा कहना है कि जब मैं इतने साल से इंटरनेशनल जो टूर्नामेंट वगैरह जितनी भी मेरा एक्सपीरियंस है, मैं ये चाहता हूँ कि मेरा करियर ख़त्म होने के बाद मैं अपने जो आने वाले प्लेयर्स हैं इनको मैं अपना एक्सपीरियंस शेयर करना चाहता हूँ। इसलिए मैंने सीएम सर को बोला था कि मुझे एक स्पोर्ट्स से रिलेटेड मुझे वहाँ पे नौकरी दिया जाए, जो मेरा मेडल की बराबर उसी हिसाब से, तो मैंने यही बोल दिया था।
राइट। नाउ देखा जाए तो मणिपुर में नीलकांता जी 1984 से 7 ओलंपियन सिर्फ हॉकी में निकाल करके आया है मणिपुर से। हाउ डू यू लुक एट द फ्यूचर एंड व्हाट कंट्रीब्यूशन, आप खुद क्या कंट्रीब्यूशन आप कर सकते हैं मणिपुर हॉकी के लिए या तो ओवरऑल स्पोर्ट्स के लिए मणिपुर में?
वही चीज़, क्योंकि मैं पहले भी बता चुका है, क्योंकि मणिपुर में अगर रह के हम हॉकी नहीं खेल सकते, क्योंकि टूर्नामेंट वगैरह बहुत कम होते हैं। हम नेशनल में जाने के लिए, नेशनल में जाता है तो फिर वहाँ पे हम कुछ परफॉर्मेंस नहीं दे पाते, क्योंकि हम टूर्नामेंट बहुत कम खेला जाता है। यहाँ पे कोई टूर्नामेंट नहीं होता, बहुत मतलब बहुत छोटा स्टेट है इसके लिए। सो मैं यही कहना चाहूँगा जितने भी प्लेयर है, क्योंकि हम आप बाहर कोशिश करिए ताकि कहीं एकेडमी में रहने का या साई में, अगर वहाँ पे नहीं रह पाओगे तो फिर आप अपने मतलब हॉकी जो आप चाहते, जो ड्रीम चाहते हैं आप, ओलंपिक खेलने का सपना, ओलंपिक में मेडल लेके आने का सपना, वो चीज़ नहीं हो पाएगा। सो ये चीज़ हम सरकार से भी यही कहना चाहता हूँ, क्योंकि यहाँ पे मतलब हॉकी जो ब्रॉन्ज मेडलिस्ट निकले, तो फिर कहीं ना कहीं जो नीलकांता कहाँ से शुरू किया उस चीज़ पे थोड़ा फोकस करना चाहिए। कौन से एकेडमी से अपना शुरू किया और कौन से मतलब डिस्ट्रिक्ट से स्टार्ट किया, वो चीज़ सरकार थोड़ा फोकस करना चाहिए ताकि और अच्छा प्लेयर निकल सके।
बिल्कुल। नाउ मेरा आखिरी सवाल तो यू मिस्टर नीलकंठ शर्मा, कितने दिनों के बाद आप घर आए? हाउ डू यू फील कमिंग होम?
लगभग मैं एक साल के बाद घर आया हूँ, क्योंकि मैं जब टोक्यो में था तब भी अपने गांव वाले जितने मणिपुरी वाले सपोर्ट कर रहे थे, क्योंकि मुझे पता है जब भी मैं घर जाऊंगा तो बहुत प्राउड फील होगा। जैसे कि कल भी मैं घर आया था, तो जब एयरपोर्ट में देखा सीएम सर ने जो इनकरेज किया, जो अपने गांव वाले जितने भी मणिपुरी है जो इन्होंने सपोर्ट किया, उनको देख के मैं बहुत खुश हूँ। क्योंकि एक तो मैं मेडल लेके आया हूँ, जो मेरा सपना है वो पूरा हुआ, और जैसे मतलब जो मणिपुर का जितने भी अपना फैमिली हो गई, जो अपना फ्रेंड हो गया, जितने लोगों ने सपोर्ट किया, इतना प्यार मिला, मैं उससे बहुत खुश हूँ।
Absolutely. Mr. Nilakanta Sharma, thank you very much indeed for speaking to Northeast Live. And you are a very busy person these days.
Thank
Thanks
you so
once
much,
again for talking to Northeast Live. Now, I'm going straight to you, Mr. Lakhya. I have raised a few questions in my introduction. You've also heard Nilakanta Sharma saying it is not enough to say that Northeast is the powerhouse of Indian sports. Now, 7.5 decades or more after independence, Northeast has excelled in sports. But why is it that there is nobody from a lot of states? If you look at Nagaland, if you look at Meghalaya, if you look at Arunachal Pradesh, there are a lot of hidden talents. Why do we hear only Manipur? What more can Manipur do? What are some of the issues, according to you? What are some of the things that you'd like to highlight?
You are absolutely correct, Wasbir. If we notice, we cannot say that there are not any talents in these states, as you mentioned, in Nagaland, maybe in Meghalaya. There are so many talents. Madhurjya will be well aware of one thing. We always spot talents up to the junior level. They show us so much of dreams up to 16 years, 18 years, 20 years.
Right.
As of now, you may heard one thing, that in national weightlifting, Assam athlete has created national record. Bisal Sangmai, he won in youth archery 2 golds, 2 gold in team events and 1 bronze in individual event. So they saw so much of dreams, but when they transform it to senior level, it is about the consistency. So there it has to be planned in that transformation period. For that, what Nilakant has said, we need so much of tournaments in every level.
Yeah.
And regarding infrastructure, this government is coming up. I would like to mention one thing. Till 2014, sports was regarded as an additional subject. It was not given so much of importance. But when Mr. Modi came into power, so it has been treated as a priority subject now. Top has been introduced, grassroots level scouting, given special trust, Khelo India has been introduced, now we are getting the results. Even our state government also, not only organizing tournaments, you must see the present government under the able leadership of Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma, they have signed an MOU with NABARD for bringing funds to create big infrastructures.
For sports.
For sports. So these are some historical changes. Now we can expect that these junior talents, which are not given due importance by the national federations or national fraternity, or even by the sports policy also, they cannot be covered. Under 16 players, he or she cannot go to the national camp. You may be well aware of that,
Right.
Madhurjya. So I think in state level, from state level itself, if we create sufficient infrastructures, then I think they will be taken care of, and their consistency in terms of not only maintaining physical health, their mental health and everything will be taken care of. Yeah.
Right. I'll come back to you, Mr. Konwar. Let me go to Imphal. Mr. T. Phulen is the Director of Sports and Youth Affairs, Government of Manipur. Mr. Phulen, every time the players from Manipur, sportspersons from Manipur have been performing very well at international events, including the Olympics. As I said, the Manipur has already produced about 7 Olympians as far as hockey is concerned since 1984. Now, what is the state government thinking now? Are you thinking anything extra? How to take sports to several notches higher? What are your plans?
We have a policy, like it was drafted in 2004, and now we are going to review the policy as well. As far as sports is concerned, it's a way of life in Manipur. Like if you go to remote villages, you will see all the people engage in one discipline or the other. So it's very much related with our way of life. It's embedded in our culture as well. And the reason why we have produced so many Olympians compared to other states is that in every part of the locality, they are engaged in one game or the other, and the facilities that we are providing may not be that much satisfactory. But we have a centralized location at Lampak, and now considering our performance in the national as well as in international level, the government of India has sanctioned, the Center of Excellence in the discipline of hockey, in discipline of archery, and in discipline of weightlifting. And on top of that, we have been provided 16 disciplines, in all the 16 districts. And they have also, in principle, agreed to provide another 16 disciplines. So with this, we are trying to have a holistic approach for the development.
Now, Mr. Phulen, very quickly, is coaching an issue? Do you need much more better coaching? And as Nilakanta was saying a short while ago, he said that there is not much of exposure to players from the Northeast because every player cannot reach the national level suddenly. He has to go through a process, he has to cross certain barriers. For that, do you think there is enough scope? As Nilakanta was saying, there is not enough scope.
Yes, what is happening in the particular discipline of hockey is that the particular association has not been conducting many tournaments. So since tournaments are not happening, they are lacking in the, confidence, and they are lacking in experience also. And moreover, good academies are not here. It's only because of the potential of the players that they have reached this level. So from government side, we are doing to revive this. And since hockey has been chosen as a center of excellence in Lampak, we are trying to hire a good coach. And for your information, Nilakanta has been appointed in our department as the deputy director. So his expertise in his Olympic preparation will also.
That is very clear news. That is almost a breaking news now. There was no clarity. Now the director of sports, Mr. T. Phulen, Manipur government is saying that Nilakanta Sharma has been appointed as deputy director in the Department of Sports and Youth Affairs in Manipur. That is a very good news, and that will go.
We are yet to give him the appointment order because we have a formal.
This is breaking news. This is breaking story that Nilakanta Sharma has been appointed by the Manipur government as a deputy director in the Department of Youths and Department of Sports and Youth Affairs. That will really help. I'll come back to you, Mr. Phulen. Let me go to you. We have two former international players with us today. We've got a very eminent panel. I'll come back to my panelist in the studio. But let me go to Dulia Jan, from where I'm joined by Arunjyoti Baruah, former Indian table tennis captain. Arunjyoti, 7 medals from Tokyo and two of them from the Northeast. I'm talking about individual medals. What is the moral of the story?
My goodness, it is stupendous actually, and it's fantastic. I mean, I can't express it, how it's so good, so beautiful, fantastic actually. And I would like to really extend my gratefulness to Mr. Wasbir Hussain, because I think we all are today in this discussion not to really, this is not a panel discussion, but we're here to rejoice this particular moment.
Absolutely.
I mean, Lovelina doing fantastic. Mirabai Chanu, so many things. So I take this opportunity first to congratulate Mr. Nilakanta Sharma, Mirabai Chanu, and Lovelina. Fantastic achievement. You have made us proud. And I think you are going to inspire the entire Northeast. And with this, I think we can go, I don't know how many steps forward, I really do not know.
Because, yes, now, I agree with you, Arunjyoti, because I agree.
I just take a cue.
Yeah. Carry on. Yes. Carry on.
Okay, and I just take a cue from Mr. Nilakanta Sharma. I mean, he made very pertinent points actually. First, he said that Northeast, the players don't get exposure, and that is a very important point, because we have got maybe very limited tournaments, very limited competent players available within the Northeast. And the second important point, very pertinent point, he said that when he won the Tokyo Olympics medal, he requested that he be given a job. If you have to develop sports, you have to become a powerhouse in sports. There's a word being frequently used. We have to create an entire ecosystem actually in Northeast.
Right.
Ecosystem means it's not only about the infrastructure, it's not only about the coaches, it's about so many other things, that, we have to create the entire life cycle of a sports person actually. The moment, you pick up a sports person, you scout talent, then bring him up.
Absolutely.
So, having said that, if you ask me personally.
Yeah. I'll come back to Arun, hold your thoughts.
What do I support?
Arunjyoti, hold your thoughts.
I support?
Arunjyoti, hold your thoughts. I'll come back to you. Let's have an opening round from all the panelists. I'll come back to you. Let me come to you, Madhurjya Baruah. By the way, Madhurjya Baruah, as you all know, viewers, he is the former international shuttler. Madhurjya Baruah, what have we learned and what does this mean? As I was asking Arunjyoti, we have got 45 million people in the northeastern region. As Nilakanta said, we have the huge potential. And now, yes, the state governments, we have seen in Assam, Lovelina being given a job and 1 crore rupees in cash. In Manipur, we have seen 75 lakh rupees given to both Nilakanta, Susila and Susila Chanu, as well as Mirabai, and jobs for both Nilakanta as well as Mirabai. Now the point is this enough? What is to be done? How to take out the talents? How to spot the talents in the rural parts of Northeast India? Do you think that is the key?
The key factor, first of all, as Arun said, fantastic performance by our Olympians.
Right.
Great going. It's a very, very good news for us. We need to celebrate this. Obviously, we are celebrating today. Coming back to Northeast, I would like to basically speak on Northeast sports. See what happens. Northeast is absolutely talented. It's full of talent, sports talents. Now, how do we bring in those talents to the platform, to that grassroots level? So basically, what has happened is today we need to figure out and plan certain things in the entire Northeast. Now, government has a Look East policy.
Yeah.
So now, considering Look East policy, since sports is a state subject, so all the states can combine together of the Northeast, can combine together and bring in a talent pool wherein the entire Northeast can have a kind of sports council, that is a kind of talent sports council, I would say a sports skill council, wherein the
sports skill council.
Absolutely.
They can pull their resources together and bring.
Correct.
So they can that means you are saying that they can hire coaches to coach together.
Correct. Now the thing is, we have dearth of coaches. Now, apart from players, we also need to create coaches. We have our own resources, we have all our ex-players. So, we give them opportunity to learn, upskill them, bring them to coaching, encourage them to coaching. At the same time, we also bring these foreign coaches. So, now bringing foreign coaches by individual state is very expensive.
Yeah.
Now, this could be a pull. The Sports Council can bring in pool of coaches and utilize for the entire Northeast. This could be a very good idea. And at the same time, having focused games in different states, like one game can be in Assam or 2-3 games can be in Assam. Manipur can focus in couple of games, Mizoram can focus in couple of games. Like that, the grassroots level players can bring in. We also bring in the coaches.
I think that's a, I'll come to you. That's a fantastic idea, I think, which Madhurjya Baruah is saying, that Northeast can pull together, bring in coaches, so that a single state may not be able to bring in hire foreign coaches alone. And there is no point also. I think a sports council can be created in the northeastern region, and things can move forward. I will take the view on this suggestion from the rest of the panelists, but opening remarks to Mr. Swapnanil Baruah, a sports administrator, former IS officer and a vice president of the Assam State BJP. Swapnanil, what do you think is the potential? How should we move ahead and capitalize on, consolidate on what we have already achieved?
Well, congratulations to the participants and winners of the medals in the Olympics. We are really enthused, and this is again a relook at the whole thing, or the sports scenario in Assam. Well, I think basically from my long years that I have been there with sports, first as a player and then in the administration since '87, the only thing I can say is that we have to get out of our static outlook so far as administration is concerned. It is becoming such a dynamic situation that it's like the the models of the iPhones and your phones changing every year.
Constantly evolving.
It's constantly evolving, but somehow we in sports administration, both in the council, both in the associations and in the government, we have not been able to adjust to that thing. Because, I still remember, well, Arunjyoti and all were lucky enough, they had coaches, but I have seen Madhurjya learning himself. Around in the early 70s when they started playing, they were taught by the senior players, and if the senior players didn't come, they had to learn by themselves. So it's I don't think really until he achieved a certain level of success in the tournaments that he got some kind of a coaching. So still today the situation, this is 1980s, and so 1980s, another 30 years hence, the situation is not much improved. So basically, we don't have primary school coaches, to teach the basics of the game to the school children, and that the tournament is also not happening regularly where you can pick up talent.
All right. Now,
these are the two things basically where the primary school coaches,
primary school coaches and more tournaments.
More tournaments where you can pick up these people to reach them to a level where they can go for excellence in sports.
Absolutely. Swapnanil Baruah there flagging 2 points, coaches at the primary school level and exposure, more tournaments.
Wasbir, if you allow me just 1 minute time. Before I thought that you began sports at the age of 8. Now exactly on this day, 3 years ago, I was in Ireland, and right in front of my hotel, there was a coaching camp going on for children, and it began at the age of 4 years.
Right.
So from 8 to 4 it has come down. So you have, unless you pick up at 4, you won't be able to achieve the success which they achieve at 19 or 20.
Absolutely. That is something which needs to be noted. Konwar, what changes have you witnessed? Because you are one of the veteran sports administrators. You are the vice president of the Athletic Federation of India. You are also the secretary of the Assam Olympic Association. What needs to be done? So, now, okay, the budget has increased to a great extent. We have a fairly good infrastructure. Our Chief Minister, Dr. Mr. Sharma, is saying that, lot more stadiums are going to be built. And after Loveliness, that day, a couple of days ago, during the felicitation, he announced that 25 crore rupees sports facility will come up at Sorupathar. Now, the point is, a lot of people will ask this question, Konwar, whether infrastructure is enough, or whether you need to have proper coaches, proper training, and proper exposure.
Wasbir, from my point of view, being a sports organizer, galleries are not meant for players. Field of play is meant for players. Swapnanil Baruah has rightly said one thing, that from primary level we need to focus. Before going to coaching and everything, I think in Northeast, not only Northeast, in entire country, we need to create awareness. Which sports to be chosen? You see, so many sort of martial arts and non-Olympic sports are clubbed up from the, childhood.
Yeah.
From childhood. And they come up with so many certificates, and later on, it becomes something very chaotic for that kid's career. So first of all, we need to create, awareness from primary level, which sports to be chosen. It is perfectly the Olympic events.
So that means, do you think there is a sports policy is needed?
Absolutely, sports policy is there. Sports policy is there. Assam sports policy is in enforce since 2018.
Yes.
Because of that, so many players are being encouraged from junior level. So my point is, we have to create courses, as Madhurjya said, not elite courses first time. We need some courses, definitely there should be ex-players, which can give the basic hand-holdings to the players in junior level. So, you see, Manipur Sports University is coming up, Arunjyoti Sports University is coming up, LNIP Guwahati SAT is here. So, we can, if both Government of India and Government of Assam and the organizers clubbed up together, and we create a pool of, basic courses, so that they can create awareness, give some hand-holding and basics.
Right.
At least that will create a lot of, enthusiasm amongst the players first. And second, regarding tournaments, though all associations wish to organize tournaments, as we all know regarding this economic part, if government comes up with grassroots level tournaments, inter-club, inter-district, they have to extend their help.
Let me take the view of Mr. Phulen. Mr. Phulen, one of our panelists, Madhurjya Baruah, former international badminton player, he is in the studios with me here. He has suggested, you have heard, he suggested that at Northeastern Sports Council may be thought of, where we can hire top coaches jointly to train the players from the Northeastern region. Do you think it is feasible? Do you think it's a good idea?
Yes, obviously it's a good idea, because the hiring of foreign coaches, it requires huge budget.
Yes.
And as you know, Northeastern region doesn't have big corporate sectors. And corporate, we don't have big investment or big sponsors coming on our way. Sometimes, like because of lack of coaching, because of lack of coaches, we are hindering in the performance. If foreign coaches, say for example, Assam is good in one discipline, if Assam hired a foreign coach, and if the players from Manipur are sent to Assam, and if they be exposed, and similarly, same as if our government hire foreign coaches for football and if Assam players are sent to ours, same way we can have an exchange, and it's going to be good for us, win-win for the entire Northeastern region. So obviously I support the view, and it's going to be good. It's going to give good result in future as well.
Absolutely.
Supplementary to what he's saying.
Yeah.
NEC used to have sports in its agenda.
Correct.
From the last 2 years, NEC has the sports has been removed from the NEC and has been taken directly to the donor. As a result of which, local competitions, the Tiao football tournament, which was a big tournament, the Northeastern Sports Meet, which was a big tournament, nothing of these are being held. I still remember 87 when we had the first Northeastern Games at Kuman Lampak. 1987, that was the beginning, and we found a lot of Junimuni and a lot of talent was unearthed in that particular tournament.
Absolutely. I think what we need is, initiative at the highest level. And now that we are discussing whether the Northeast can have a sports council, I think the chief ministers of the Northeastern region, we have seen this time, after our players excelled, we have seen Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma, we have seen Chief Minister N. Biren Singh, then Mizoram, Lal Ramsiani, and, they have gone out of their way. And they've gone to the airport to receive our players, both the chief ministers, whether it is Biren Singh or whether it is Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma. They've encouraged, they've demonstrated that they are interested, and this needs to be converted into a serious political will to do something on the ground. We are in the middle of a very interesting discussion. Don't go away. I'll be right back after this very short commercial break. Welcome back. Before I resume the discussion, our viewers who are witnessing this live stream on the social media of this show, one of them has written, "There is no dearth of sports talents in northeastern states. I developed a firm belief from my 11-year stay. Only a bottoms-up approach to identification, to grooming of young talents is crucial requirement. Corporate and government should unitedly work to bring more medals for the nation." Lakhya, you mentioned, I think Mr. Phulen mentioned that there is no corporate support in states like Manipur. Now take the case of athletics. India sent its biggest ever contingent to the Olympics this time, 29-member athletic squad. This is the highest, biggest number which was sent. I'm coming to you, Arunjyoti Baruah, in a minute. Yes. Do you think budget is an issue? Do you think the corporate involvement is there only in certain sports like, cricket and so on? Do you think that is a problem?
So, Wasbir, one thing we should always take into consider that even we see it also in practical way. When a player, gets a medal in Asian Games or Olympics, definitely corporate group will come to sponsor that particular player. But before that, we always request the corporates from junior level, because from junior level that athletes is a bright star. If they are being supported from that level only, if they extend their support to this association also, I think much more athletes will come up. Even in Assam and Northeast, corporate groups like State Bank of India, there's a banking sector, they have so much of money, Oil India, ONGC, yes, I don't say that they don't spend, but it should be in a methodological way. They should adopt two sports, so that they can go for grassroots level scouting. And associations too should come up with this scientific outlook. As we are now working, Assam Olympic Association is working with the government of Assam. We have recently requested Honorable Chief Minister that at least corporate groups should be, entrusted to adopt at least one priority sports from where we can, expect medal. And one thing more, I would like to agree with Swapnanil Baruah Dada that as government of India is, introducing its target Olympic podium scheme, TOPS, in state level, state governments too should, introduce a scheme for Khelo India Youth Games, because these days, national games is not relevant one, because in national games also, elite players will not play, Neeraj Chopra will not play, Lakhya will not play. So, Khelo India Youth Games is giving, a very good result in international level for junior athletes. So, if state level also, if we introduce a scheme like TOPS, so that we can groom more and more athletes, right, I think it will encourage the players.
Right. Arunjyoti Baruah, even today, we see our players talking about such basic things as proper food, proper nutrition. Is this something which they have to worry about? Is this something they should be actually bothering about? Don't you think somewhere there is a big gap somewhere? Something is lacking as far as the governments are concerned.
Yeah, exactly. What I wanted to tell you, as I said, the entire ecosystem, what I mean to say, okay, let me take a example of my own, when I grew up, what Mr. Swapnanil Baruah said. I started my career in the school, and I was very lucky that at that point of time, I had the best coach. and my father, who was the principal, who was, he was super into. My parents were super into.
Yeah.
So what I propose, and I'm a big proponent of developing sports in the school level. That is no doubt about it. But the point is, how do I go about it? Because there are several models, how you can, develop sports. One is the community level, where you find in places like South Korea. Then school and colleges you find in like states. And then, I think all of us know when USSR or the Eastern Bloc was there, they came out with the institutionalized sports. The government came in, actually. Now, the question is that which model do we adopt? So, it all appears to us that the best model for us at this point of time is that we nurture right at the school level.
Yeah.
So, here, what I would like to say, that Madhurjya has very nicely said that a skill development council, sports development council come for the Northeast. But what I can propose is that something like what Orissa government has done for the hockey, actually. Now, we have 7 states here and the entire Northeast. Now, can I say something like, let's say Assam. I think Assam can actually pursue some of the sports where we are really good at, or we have been very good at, or we have real potential. I think archery we have been doing very well. I think there are other games like badminton or table tennis, football, or similarly Manipur. Manipur is doing very well in, say, boxing, hockey. Then you have Mizoram. So I think each of these states can actually, pick up few games and push, actually, and that's the way. That's a very nice model we can think about. And
Right. Right. Now,
yeah, and once we can, for example, in Assam, suppose let's say an example, I pick up, say, archery. In the entire Northeast, all the Northeast players we can, pick up, do the talent scouting. We can develop that
talent scouting,
either centrally or in their schools, either way.
Right.
So I think this is one model I am thinking about, and I think it is very possible, absolutely viable model I'm talking about.
Absolutely. Absolutely. S. Singha, one of the viewers was watching this live stream, says that let's include sports in our curriculum. That's exactly what we have also discussed a short while ago. Madhurjya Baruah, Madhurjya Baruah, basically, how to take this forward? Spotting, as Swapnanil Baruah was saying that he has seen abroad people being trained from the age of 4. Now, what do we do to spot these talents? Do you think the corporates needs to be involved? Do you think companies needs to be involved? As Lakhya Kumar was saying that it's okay, a corporate may come up to support Neeraj Chopra now, or Lavlina Borgohain now, or Mirabai Chanu now that they have won Olympic medals. But to produce more Olympic medals in a country of 1.3 billion people, Madhurjya, I think we need to do a lot more.
Let me be little. Let me elaborate a bit.
Yeah.
See, what has happened in the entire Northeast, more particularly in Assam. Assam has been always a performing state in sports. Taking cue from Arun's point of view,
Yeah.
there are lot many talents, there are lot many performers from Assam in different international events, national events. There was a time when Assam was dominant in a lot of sports. Now, at the same time, that should continue. I'm not saying there's a break of chain. At the same time, that should continue. The question is how. Now, when we approach a sports scenario, when we try and develop a sports scenario, see, the responsibilities come to the government as well as to the sports organizers.
Right.
It has to be a holistic approach. It's a together we have to create. Government cannot do it alone. It has to be a togetherness. As Lakhya Kumar has correctly said, Assam Olympic Association is doing their bit to bring in talents and lift them up. At the same time, for Northeast, there are other sports associations. Now, the responsibility goes to each and every
Everybody.
sports association. At the same time, we need to promote sports right at the grassroots level, from club level,
Yeah.
bring it to the school level, togetherness, the inter-club tournament, inter-school tournament, then inter-college tournament, then inter-university tournament. The one player has to play one another in different tournaments.
Right.
Maybe an inter-university tournament for the Northeast, inter-college for the Northeast.
Okay,
So
that
will
is
be a good
again
platform.
a very interesting idea. Inter-university tournament in the northeastern region. Mr. T. Phulen, final comments from you. I am running short of time. Inter-university tournaments in the northeastern region, because now I am asking you, Manipur has been showing the way. 7 Olympians in hockey. We have people like Mirabai Chanu. We have people like Mary Kom, and so on and so forth. We had Dinko Singh, who showed the way long back. I am not only talking about Olympians. But the point is, T. Phulen, how do you propose to take this to another level, to the next level? What is the Manipur government's plan to take sports in the state to the next level?
Yes, of course. Manipur, we are proud that we have produced 19 Olympians so far.
Yeah.
So from that point of view, we have been doing our level best to scout talents from the grassroots level. For that, we have identified district level scouting committee. For every district, we are identifying talent pool. A group of specialists where they will identify the talents. And then again, coming to the schools, we have introduced sports and physical educations in most of the, it's a part of our curriculum. So organizing sports in schools has become a part of our policy. And on top of that, we have drafted a policy where we will be providing job facilities for the Olympians. Not only for the Olympians, but for people who have performed good in Asian Games, Commonwealth, and we have a draft policy. So quite recently, we have created 18 posts, 10 posts for assistant director and deputy director, 7 posts, and then joint director. So we have different criteria. According to their performance, we will be providing jobs to all the Olympians, and not only to the Olympians.
Yeah.
And for the purpose of promoting, for the purpose of taking forward, we have case incentives, and we have developed infrastructure, because the infrastructure at Kumalampak is meant only for people who are excellent in their field. So grassroots level, infrastructure, not that very expensive type infrastructure where people who are talented that they can readily play. So we have adopted a policy where we have 60 assembly constituencies, and in 60 assembly constituencies, we will be developing play field for the two play field. It's for 60 assembly constituency, and in the real talent can be scouted from this play fields.
Right. Two playgrounds in 6 assembly constituencies. This is what they are planning, and they have got already created a lot of posts for not only Olympians, but people in other major international events. Lakhya, final comments from you. What is the plan for Assam? Let's talk Assam specific now. Can you elaborate? Can you throw some light?
Wasbir, we have to understand one thing, as you said very rightly, that sports itself is a private subject as described by a Constitution of India. So we cannot force anybody to play. Associations are responsible for scouting talents and take them into a certain system. And now the government comes, they will facilitate them with infrastructure, coaching, everything. So this has to be understood by everybody.
Right.
Then only, as Arun said, the ecosystem will be built. Correct. Otherwise, there will be an accident. So we are really thankful to Government of Assam that, as Phulen has said, they are proposing 2 play fields in every constituency. But our government already constructed 500 play fields in the last 5 years. 300 has already been completed. They have been inaugurated. 200 play fields are under construction.
So the story is Assam, 300 playgrounds have already been completed. 200 more coming in the last 5 years. 500 playgrounds have been built in Assam.
And one multi-purpose sports complex that will be completed within two in fact, one in Lakhimpur, one in Dibrugarh. They are same style of Sorusajai sports complex.
Right.
And another more 10 big complexes are coming up within this tenure of this government.
Absolutely. Final comments. 1 minute to you, Swapnanil Baruah, wrap up.
My suggestion would be that for broad-basing sports, let government take the responsibility of preparing the infrastructure, providing the consumables, providing the teachers or coaches, whatever you call them. And so far as excellence in sports is concerned, is that the government and the associations tie up and introduce technology. There is no sports science applied in Assam sportsmen till date, or for that matter of fact in the Northeast, unless they go out from here to represent the national games. And at that level, excellence in sports, use technology and arrange for funds involving both government and corporate sector.
Arun, 30 seconds to you. Arun, wrap up, please. Final comments. Arun, 30 seconds.
Yeah, I fully agree with Mr. Swapnanil Baruah. It is the time of technology now. If you don't bring in technology, it will be very difficult. I think I saw a clip of Mirabai Chanu, the way she was preparing herself with the help of technology just before the Tokyo Olympics. I'm so sure this is one of the reasons she has done very well. So we have to bring in technology, coaches, infrastructure, the entire life cycle of a sports person. When he completes his peak career, he should be involved and he should get a job. So each and every part we need to look into it. And I think government is doing quite a lot, like building stadiums.
Absolutely.
I think the corporates can come in, get tie up along with the associations and the government and do something.
Absolutely, absolutely. Madhurjya, 30 seconds to you. I'm running short of time. Apologies. 30 seconds to you, Madhurjya. Final comment.
What I would say is there are two ends at the lower end and the higher end. The lower end is that we have National Sports University in Imphal. So why don't holistically the entire Northeast, why don't we request, we have LNCP in Assam, Guwahati. Now, why don't we together create a syllabus through the National Sports University or LNCP for the school curriculum and college curriculum. That is at grassroots level. At the same time, why don't we set up high performance center for individual sports for the entire Northeast in different states through the big corporates, bringing in government to be inside and all that. Now we have seen our chief ministers, honorable chief minister of Assam and Manipur, everybody has taken lead. They have set an example.
Yes.
Now taking advantage of that, why don't we tie up all the loose ends?
Absolutely, tying up all the loose ends, use the existing universities and centers of excellence to further take us one level higher. Now, at the end of the day, this has been a very, very positive discussion. Lot of suggestions have come out, whether it is a sports council in the northeastern region, whether it is scouting talent, use of technology, use of coaches, and of course infrastructure. It is very heartening to find Assam having 500 playgrounds, 300 of them having been already completed. And it's very nice to hear from the Director of Sports of Manipur, Mr. Phulen, saying that there will be 2 playgrounds in each of the 60 assembly constituencies. I think these are very, very positive suggestions coming out. And of course, Manipur's decision to appoint Nilakanta Sharma as a Deputy Director in the Department of Sports and Youth Affairs and creating so many posts, a dozen odd posts for sportspersons who have excelled. I think these are positive signs and we need to consolidate further and take and move ahead. There is no dearth of talents and there is no reason why Northeast cannot excel in sports and make the nation proud. I thank all my panelists for participating in this discussion and the viewers for watching the show. Good night and goodbye.